Unit 4, Selecting a Problem for Problem-Based Learning. Lesson 1, Learner Profile. What this lesson looks at. Firstly, we'll give an overview of problems in problem-based learning. We'll detail how to choose a problem and the different options you have. We look at the prior knowledge of the learner, the level of interest of the learner. Overview. Problems are often perceived negatively. However, in problem-based learning, problems are used to encourage inquiry and stimulate thinking. In problem-based learning, the problem presented to the learner is known as the trigger, and its objective is to trigger a sequence of learning and thinking. Therefore, it is important to present a problem in a manner that stimulates inquiry. Selecting the correct problem for PBL can affect the success of the learning. There is much research surrounding the design of effective problems for PBL in higher education. Most of these design principles are concerned with directing the learner towards relevant content and learning objectives, which are preset in a curriculum. However, in the workplace, problems are readily available, and the issue is concerned with selecting the correct problem for the learners and how to present that problem. The content that the learner is required to satisfy is not set by a curriculum. The content the learner requires to solve the problem is sufficient to satisfy the learning needs of the company. Therefore, the group must fully develop a problem before pursuing it. As a result, this unit covers the different aspects that need to be covered: the learner profile, the problem profile, how to present the problem, how to categorize the problem, and finally we will give a sample PBL problem. Firstly, choosing a problem. There are a number of different options available to you. Firstly, you can decide to solve the problem alone. However, PBL is collaborative by nature, and by choosing this option, your learning will be limited, as you'll only have one perspective on the problem. Also, your workload will be increased. To choose this option, on the ICT platform, when entering the title of the problem, place "Not open for collaboration" afterwards. For example, forecasting problem, not open for collaboration. This will show other learners that you do not want to work on the problem with other people and you're going to do it alone. You can also decide to set up a PBL group in your company to solve the problem. Even though other learners might be taking the course, you can decide to get a group together and work through each step of the process, guiding them as you go through it. If you want to do this, when they enter the title of the problem, place "Collaborating internally" afterwards. So for example, forecasting problem, collaborating internally. You can post different problems that you're interested in to the ICT platform. And if you want other people to work with you on the problem, enter "Open for collaboration." Sometimes this is good to gain external expertise and other perspectives on a problem. For example, forecasting problem, "Open for collaboration." Finally, if you don't have any particular problem you want to work in, you can go to the ICT platform, explore the various problems, and select one you would like to collaborate on. When you see a problem that you want to work on, click on the problem and enter your name and the role you would like to undertake in the roles area of the ICT platform. In the next unit, we'll be looking at how to use the ICT platform, and we'll go through these features in detail. Now we will look at the learner profile. Firstly, you need to consider the prior or existing knowledge of the learner. Do the learners have knowledge of the problem already? This is important, and it will encourage learners to bring what they already know to the situation and allow them to build on this. Sopp, Schmid and Brewston found that the more familiar a student was with the problem, it would activate their prior knowledge, stimulating interest and resulting in more time spent on problem solving. The more relevant the problem is to the learner, the more likely the PBL process will be successful. Therefore, when selecting a problem for PBL, you must identify how familiar the group will be with the problem. Level interest or motivation in solving the problem. Often the learner may need to spend some of their time trying to address the problem. It is important to select a problem that they are interested in and can benefit from in some way, particularly if you're working in a company environment. In a study conducted by Sock-Allingham and Schmid, it was found that an interesting problem was perceived as one of the most second important aspects of problem design to the learner. In particular, one respondent stated that I would think that it is highly interactive and interesting when we are giving problem statements that concern our every way of life. Perhaps solving the problem will make their life easier or will improve business for the company, thus improving their job security and opportunities. Or perhaps it's a problem they always accepted and had not thought about answering. For example, in a person's role, they might experience issues with a particular machine that's preventing them from reaching their weekly targets. They might accept that this is a problem that they have to deal with, but when offered the opportunity and the responsibility of examining the problem and identifying and implementing a solution, they may jump at the chance, as it will make their role easier. In the next lesson, we will look at the problem profile for PBL.